The Fugitive is meant to be a sweet little story. It tries to blend fantasy with science fiction. Rod even says so as the narrator.
Science fiction, the improbable made possible. Fantasy, the impossible made probable. What would you have if you put these two different things together?
Old Ben is a gentle neighborhood senior citizen that often plays with the nearby children. He has a special bond with Jenny, an imaginative little girl with a limp right leg. They're neighbors in their apartment building where Jenny lives with her disgruntled Aunt Agnes. The strange thing about Ben is, he can change his appearance into anything he wants, something the local kids get a real kick out of. Two men, claiming to be police officers, have been tracking the old man and ask Aunt Agnes some questions about him. Jenny goes to warn Ben, who transforms into a mouse that the little girl hides in her pocket. Safely in her room, old Ben admits that he's actually an alien on the run from the fake cops who are trying to take him back to their home world. Planning on leaving Earth to find another world to hide out in, Ben decides to heal Jenny's disabled leg, morph into a fly, and flee out the window. The little girl tries to chase him, but she's stopped by the two mysterious strangers on the stairs and asked where Ben is. She refuses to answer and is shot with the same type of device that healed her leg. This time, however, it knocks her out and puts her in serious condition on the verge of death. The attending doctor tells Aunt Agnes that all they can do now is wait.
You must be a communist.
No, little monkey, I'm not a communist.
I'll say off the bat that this is Charles Beaumont's worst episode so far. It's not even close. His clever sense of character, dialogue, and plot are nowhere to be found in the writing. It seems like the type of story he'd try to distort to make more interesting, but that astute sense of drama never shows up in this script. Rod's narration at the beginning, and the ending for that matter, seemed to be a patch job trying to over-explain what this story attempted to represent. It's blending fantasy and science fiction, understood. Plenty of other episodes do this much more successfully without overtly saying it. Jenny having a bad home life with her mean aunt is balanced out by her magical friend who can do almost anything. She's healed of her chronic ailment and wants to escape to somewhere she can be more free. There's also evidently some sort of tragic family background since Jenny doesn't live with her parents. All this logically would lead a kid to fantasize about being elsewhere. It's just executed in a dull fashion. Richard L. Baer directed episodes that aired back-to-back, with this and To Serve Man the previous week. It's a major downgrade from one of the show's most popular episodes to one of its most forgettable. The Fugitive also easily tops the list as Baer's worst installment of the series this far in. I'm gonna be honest with you guys, I don't really know what to make of this episode. It could be that I've had to watch a lot of these close together this year, but this one confused me, disturbed me upon further thinking, and worst of all, had me dozing off. It starts off cutesy enough, but the relationship between Ben and Jenny gets weird by the end. Looking at it through modern eyes can make their friendship seem a little unhealthy.
How come you don't make my leg well?
Well, then I wouldn't have the fun of carrying you. And you'd get yourself a young boyfriend.
I usually don't like when people point stuff like this out when the intention is obviously not anything bad, but the ending directly puts the thought in our heads. Old Ben returns to his best friend and cures Jenny of her ills. The pair of mystery men appear in the little girl's room, finally cornering Ben and confessing that striking her down was a trap to get the shapeshifter to come back and heal her. It's here where we find out the old man is actually the king of his home planet. He fled after the first 1,000 years of his 5,000-year reign, not wanting the responsibility. Ben resigns to going back home, but Jenny demands to go with. While that's not permitted, the alien subjects allow a few moments for the pair to say goodbye alone. When they return, Ben has transformed into a duplicate of Jenny, and they're forced to take both back to their home planet, not knowing which is their king. Rod appears on screen at the end of the episode, mentioning a picture of Ben's true form was left under Jenny's pillow for her aunt to find. It depicts a handsome young man. On a final note, Serling says Jenny is to be Ben's queen when she grows up.
Am I gonna die, Ben?
Yes, eventually.
Rod's on-screen appearance at the finish of this story further convinces me he was trying to add things up for the audience. Although it's just made worse by suggesting the 1,000-something-year-old alien is going to marry little Jenny when she grows up. That makes everything about their friendship before this quite troubling. They also did Aunt Agnes dirty. She didn't like her niece spending all her time with some weird old man. Makes sense to me. So she's grumpy, far from perfect, yes, but she really cares about Jenny. We see her stern facade fall as she holds back tears after finding out Jenny's condition is dire. And then the girl just disappears, never to be heard from again, while some stranger's picture is found under her pillow. If they wanted to make Agnes the villain here, they failed. I just ended up feeling sorry for her by the end. Unless this was somehow a twisted, intentional commentary by Beaumont, The Fugitive fails at being anything remotely interesting. The performances by Susan Gordon, J. Pat O'Malley, and Nancy Culp are just about the only things I liked about it. No need to waste your time checking it out. Leave this fugitive forever on the run in the Twilight Zone.